Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive. Today, we are diving into the world of immigration.
Specifically immigration in the U.S. and how it's impacting the Latino evangelical community.
We are going to be looking at a lot of different perspectives. Religious leaders,
Advocacy groups.
even take a quick glance back at the 2016 election.
Yeah. You know, what's fascinating to me here is that we're talking about the intersection of faith, politics, and how societies work.
Yeah.
And we're going to see a really wide range of opinions, even just within the Latino evangelical community.
Yeah, when you hear a number like 11 million undocumented immigrants living in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
It's huge, but this number has been relatively stable for the past decade. So it really makes you think about the impact. What would happen if there was like a sudden shift in deportation policy?
Absolutely, especially in a community that's so woven into American society, like Latino evangelicals.
Right.
And, you know, that brings us to Pastor Gabriel Salguero. He's a leader in the National Latino Evangelical Coalition. And he had this really powerful statement that he made to CBN News. Any language of mass deportation will send a chill up the Latino evangelical church's spine.
Wow.
And it's not just about, you know, individual people being deported. It's about whole congregations being disrupted, families split apart.
It's almost like you're pulling a thread on a sweater and it all unravels.
It's that sense of instability within a community that's, you know, at its heart rooted in faith.
So how are these churches preparing, knowing this could be a possibility?
Well, Salguero mentions that they are taking steps like lining up legal counsel, even partnering with churches down in Latin America to kind of create this safety net,
Wow.
which I think really speaks to the level of concern that exists within the community.
You know, it's interesting. You hear all that, and it makes you think about the fact that in 2016, over 40% of Latinos voted for Trump, despite his hard stance on immigration.
Yeah, how do you square that, right?
Yeah.
It's a tough one. Salguero, he suggests that maybe it's partly because there's an alignment on social conservatism, but it also just shows that the Latino evangelical community is not this one big single block. There's
Wow.
all these debates going on within it, different priorities.
Absolutely. And on the flip side, we have Tom Homan. He's the incoming border czar, at least that's what they called him. In an interview with Fox News, he talked a lot about going after criminals,
Right.
especially gangs like MS-13,
Yeah.
Tren de Aragua.
Focusing on the public safety threats.
So he really hammered home that point.
We have the bad hombres, as Trump called them.
Right.
But this kind of brings up some difficult questions like, where do you draw the line? What exactly makes someone dangerous?
Right.
What about the people who have been living here peacefully for years, working, raising families? What about their kids who were born here in the U.S.?
Yeah. It's not just black and white rounding up the, quote, bad guys.
Right.
These are people's lives we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Matt Sorens from World Relief brought up a really powerful point about this. He's really concerned about what this would do to families, separating them, especially if they start deporting people that have been here for a long time and haven't committed any crimes. It goes against a lot of values, especially values that many evangelicals hold.
Yeah, for sure. And then you have Reverend Samuel Rodriguez from the National Hispanic Christian Leadership Conference.
Okay.
He brings up this tension between having compassion and upholding the rule of law.
Oh, yeah.
He really wants people to think about immigration from a biblical perspective. He even brought up some passages from the Bible,
Yeah, which ones?
like Matthew 25,
Okay.
about welcoming strangers,
Right.
Leviticus 19, treating foreigners with justice, and Romans 13 about obeying the governing authorities.
It's like, how do you reconcile all that? It feels like there's no easy answers.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes this whole thing so interesting. It really makes you think about some tough questions, not just about immigration, but about what we value as a country. How do we treat the people that are most vulnerable? What stood out to you the most from all these different viewpoints?
Honestly, what I keep coming back to is the people. We can talk about statistics and policies all day, but at the end of the day, it's about families, congregations, individuals just trying to make a better life for themselves.
I couldn't agree more.
We can't lose sight of that.
Really leaves you with a lot to think about. How do we keep our borders safe, but also have compassion and respect for everyone's dignity as human beings?
That's a question we all have to grapple with.
Absolutely.